Well, I'll tell you, it's been a little slow on the hunt this morning, and the weather's cool, but it's warming up fairly quick. It's cool this morning, probably over 40 now. It was down to low 30s this morning. What I thought we'd do is come back over to camp, and I mixed up some ingredients at the house to make hobo bread. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and we'll talk about the traditionalism of hobo bread, and we'll talk about how I mix these ingredients at home so that I wouldn't have to bring very many things to the woods to fix this morning. And we'll talk about that, and we'll fix some hobo bread over the fire, so stay with me. Okay, so hobo bread was just a cake of sorts that was cooked in a can. But generally it would have been cooked inside of an old tin can. Unfortunately, we can't really do that as easy today because most of the cans that you buy on the market today have plastic liners in them, food safe liners inside the can. So we're gonna use a different way of cooking that today. But what I did was I took all the dry ingredients and I mixed them into a bag, and then we'll mix that with the wet ingredients to make our dough, okay? So we have 4 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of butter, which we've got the butter here. We're gonna melt that down and make it more pliable. 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 eggs, which we've got right here on the side, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, which I have here also in the bucket, 4 cups of flour, 2 cups of raisins, and 1 cup of walnuts. I use chocolate covered raisins because it's what I had. You could use regular raisins, but chocolate covered ones might make it taste even better. And then we're going to need 2.5 cups of water mixed with this to make our dough. Now that's gonna make a lot more bread than we're gonna eat, but we're going to cook a little bit of it and save a little bit of it as well, okay? So we've got our butter, we've got our vanilla extract. We're gonna need a mixing bowl here directly to mix this stuff in. And then we gotta figure out how we're gonna cook it. Like I said, traditionally this stuff was cooked in some type of a can. So what I think I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to figure out a way to cook it in a Pathfinder cup, which is about the same size as a bean can. And we'll see if we can make that work out today, okay? So stay with me and we're gonna get started. All right, so I think the first thing we're gonna do is it calls for liquid butter or melted butter in this recipe. So we're gonna take the butter and we're gonna put it in our cup and we're gonna melt it in the cup and then pour it in with our dry ingredients. And what that's going to do is it's gonna accomplish 2 things at once here for us. Once we pour it out, we'll wipe the residue around the cup. That'll make the cup more non-stick. And then we will accomplish 2 things at once with that. And we'll save ourselves a little butter in the box to put on the bread itself. We're just gonna snug this up next to the fire a little bit here, just to get it melting down. We don't want to burn it, we just want to melt it. Now I'm gonna shake this dry mix up really good in here. Get everything mixed in well. But I just put it all in the bag. I didn't worry about mixing it up, okay? And we're gonna take about half of this dry mix and put it into a bowl here. And with that, we're going to add just a touch of this vanilla extract. We're gonna put our 2 eggs in here. Actually, we're only gonna put 1 egg in here because we're only using half the recipe, okay? And then we're going to add about half the water it calls for in the total recipe that we had warming up here by the fire. We'll be sparing with the water in the beginning. And then we'll also add a little liquid butter to this. We don't need it all in there. So we'll melt some more of this on the side here. And then we'll start to mix this up. All right, once we get all that, we're gonna start mixing this down and getting this egg beat in here good. Again, remember, we have more mix if we got too excited with the water. We have more water if we don't have enough water. What we're looking for here is a consistency of about peanut butter when we're done. So I'd say we're just a little bit damp right now as far as the mix goes. We can easily add to that out of our bag to fix that problem. And we'll just go a little at a time until we get exactly what we want. And while this butter's still hot, I'm just kind of sloshing around this cup just to kind of get this cup greased good. And I can do some of that with my hands while the cup's still warm. It'll be real easy to do that. And then we'll save some of this butter for when the bread's done in the end. All right. Now the next thing we have to figure out is how we're going to cook this. And traditionally it was cooked straight up and down. So we're going to need to put this can in something that can become an oven. We got plenty of stuff to work with here in our cooking kit. We just want to make sure that whatever we use, probably going to be the 3-quart bush pot, has enough room inside it once this is in there for it to rise, okay? Because it will rise a little bit. And then we want a little bit of standoff from the bottom to make sure that we don't burn it. So we'll take one plate, we'll turn it upside down inside just like this. We'll put our batter in our cup, and we'll put the cup on top like this. Once we have that, we'll put our 8-inch skillet on top like that, which fits on there very, very good to give us kind of a dome shape effect there on top so that we have some room for it to rise, okay? So that's going to be the configuration we're going to use. Now, the first step is to get some batter in this greased cup. I made about a half a batch here, which is probably enough, more than enough for this. We're going to go ahead and use it all and hope it doesn't rise too awful bad in here. That was the magic sequence. Now, we'll take this and we'll put this on top of it just like this. And we're going to put this right down in the fire. So, let's get some things arranged here. I put a couple rocks right here that thing would sit on so the coals would be underneath. Just like that. Pull some things out of here real quick so I can arrange some things when I'm done. But I've got a good solid coal base right there to set that on top of. I think I'm going to put these handles out where I can grab them if I need to. Now, what we want to do is we want to build this fire up a little bit around the pot, not underneath the pot. We'll use the coals that are underneath, and we'll feed some more sticks in here around the pot to get the fire going around the pot. Now the real trick to this is that your fire is about burnt down when things are done. So let's pull this off. All right. See, we got some butter burnt to the side there, but the top of that bread don't look burnt for sure. All right, so we've let this cool down now. Let's take a spoon handle and kind of work our way around the inside of this. Make sure nothing's stuck to the edges here. I ain't gonna be able to get all the way down in here with this spoon, but everything looks plenty dry. That's a good thing. Now, see if we get her to come out of here. Oh, look at that. Look at that, boy. Not too bad down there. Looks like one little piece stuck to the bottom, but I'm pretty sure, looking at that, that was chocolate. Chocolate raisin. So, I'd say what we got here is pretty good. Get our plate out here and roll this bad boy onto a plate so we're not messing up our chair. All that's chocolate there. Man, it looks pretty good, to tell you the truth. Man, oh man, look at that. Holy cow. Oh boy, look at that, man. Whew. Holy cow. Man, oh man, look at that. Boy, if that don't look good. Golly. Look at that. Walnuts and raisins in there just coming unglued with that. Holy cow. Let's get us a little slab of butter on that. Just because. Oh man. Holy cow. That was so flaky. I think it was delicious. Man. Well, fellas, I gotta tell you something. This is some mighty fine eats right here. I'll be eating on this for the next 2 to 3 hours or so much of this. No way I can eat all this. I definitely have to share some of this, but boy, it sure is good. Oh man. Whew. Man, that's really good. Guys, listen, I appreciate you joining me out here today for this quick video on making hobo bread and improvising an oven over the fire to do that with. I appreciate your views and I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for school, for family, and for business. For all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends, and I hope you all have a great holiday season. Thank you.